Hey. Oh, no. Mm. 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 What I see. All right. All right, all right, all right. All right, all right. Let's see if we get this going here today. All right. Dee, dee, dee. Mm-mm. All right, we'll do that. Hey, hey, hey. Whew. All right. How you doing? All right, let's see how we can do this here. Making sure we got everybody set up so I can see everything and everybody. Yes, it's live now. I don't need only me. We gotta interact this. Come on, come on, come on. Public. All right. Yes, 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 yes. Today, we are doing the coffee and conversation live on social media. Ooh, ooh. That's one thing for sure. I don't want to hear about nobody complaining about, oh my gosh, it's so hot. Mm-mm. No, it ain't. Appreciate it, enjoy it, because our days of that are not long here in the CLE, so we got to appreciate it. We got to appreciate. How did I do the thing? Oh, okay. This is, hey. Ooh, how y'all doing? What did I do? I did the questions. Where'd it go? Okay. All right. So, hello everyone. Thank you all for joining in today. I was just trying to make sure I took care of the housekeeping things. I am Miss E, your author and relationship coach here today. Some of you may know me as the baker and or the organizer for homes and offices. And I do all of those, but today's role is as relationship coach during our coffee and conversation. We normally do this in a seated setting. New message is received from Chrissy. And we're going on we usually are in a setting. And in doing so, we have the groups come in and everything. And we usually are at the Cafe Fix Midtown down off of 68th and Euclid here in Cleveland, Ohio. But during the summer, we like to take off to give people, their summer because schedules get real busy and sometimes it's kind of hard to take that break to come in and join in on the conversation. So to make it easy on everyone, we were trying something new this year and by going live. And so Today's topic is a combination of things, and it came after I had a conversation with a couple of people as I was thinking about one for this topic, but even more so in reference to some things that have been combining on why some people choose to make some of the choices that they do in relationships or as they leave after they've left a relationship. For that instance, now for the most part, yes, I am talking about um, relationships, dating, marriage, that type of thing. But the other part of this too can also connect down to familial relationships and friendships, whether it's husband, wife, parent, child, brother, sister, sister, brother, uncle, aunt, niece, nephew, all that kind of thing. Because most of us, when it comes to these relationships, usually don't have any kind of blueprint or anything to go by. You usually just kind of wing it. But in some cases, especially when it comes to a marital relationship, usually your decision to be in one or not usually comes from 9 out of 10, it stems from what you viewed and witnessed growing up. For some, you witnessed a lot of maybe a lot of drama, um, a lot of abuse, a lot of arguing, fussing, fighting, and everything. And so you came to think and figure, you know what? I don't even want to be bothered. It's not even worth it. I can keep people at a distance, and that's just how I'm going to do. You're not letting really people in, or you figure why get married versus just whether it's just living together or whatever the case is. So, and I know it's different for everybody, and like I said, everybody has different reasons for doing what it is that they do. But this came primarily because I've seen some crazy things jump off recently. I've heard stories of how people act maybe after they get out of a relationship or even sometimes while they're in. Because some people, you both come in the relationship from two different standpoints, two different life experiences that brought you together at this point. So you're deciding to intertwine your worlds. So you know what you grew up with. For example, I'll say for me, my maternal grandparents, watching them grow up, if you read my book, Are You Sure That You're Ready? A Singles Guide to Preparing for Marriage, you'll see where, in fact, I dedicated the book to them because they said, me watching them grow up made me want to be in a relationship. I viewed them as like the best example based on what I knew at the time. Because keep in mind, I'm a teenager watching them, but they looked so great together. You would see them, they would be loving and smiling on each other and just look like they were happy to be around each other. And they really took care of each other. I remember when my grandfather got sick, my grandmother, she didn't care about, now she had all grown kids at this point. So her thing was, look, y'all grown, y'all gonna be all right. I gotta take care of my husband. That was her priority. And she didn't care about nothing else. She's like, y'all gonna be all right. Right now, it's about my husband. And she meant that. And she put everybody out until, now she did welcome visitors or whatever when she was ready. But at the same time, for the most part, she was like, that's her first priority. And I can say on the flip side, my paternal grandparents, they weren't as affectionate. I didn't witness them doing a lot of hugging, kissing, and all like that. But they had love for each other, and they loved based on what they knew and how they were. But it wasn't a whole lot of extra love and affection that I witnessed. I think I remember one time and specifically, I actually saw my grandmother and grandfather kiss, and that was when she was ready to go on a trip out of town, and he was seeing her off. That was the only time. My other grandparents, on the other hand, I would see them hug and kiss all the time. The family was always very affectionate. We would hug and love and kiss each other as we come and go, say I love you, that type of thing. Dad's side, it was just the opposite. And I think, it came from how they grew up. I don't think, it was one of those things where, and I can even say, well, we're all grown. Even the bedroom was reflective of it. Because my dad's parents, they slept in separate twin beds in the same room. Not the same with my mother's parents. They had one big bed that they slept in. So it just goes to show you, I think maybe part of it, how my dad's parents grew up, it was kind of taboo to talk about sex and things of that nature, or they just weren't as open to share what was shared between them. That's not to say they didn't love. And so in doing that, that's kind of where things are. So, uh, so that's what I witnessed. Now, one thing I did see from my dad's parents were they were kind of fuss. They were kind of fussy at times. My grandmother, she would go off on these tangents at times. Don't know why, but that was her thing. And that was just how she did. Nothing against it or whatever. That's just how she was. And we learned to deal with it. What I did find was I started picking that up. I wasn't carried. I wasn't. I was careful. I was mindful that I started picking up this habit of fussing at people. I was in leadership at church and stuff like that, and so when things would happen, I would uh, I would just kind of see things go on, and I would just get to fussing about it. And I would mean well by it, but I just wouldn't. I would just find myself fussing, and some people found it entertaining. They would just like to get me all worked up or whatever on things just to see how I would react. And I said, you know what, we're not going to keep doing this. Not to mention, I found it to be a little exhausting at times as well. So, but it was cool. But when I noticed it, I became mindful of the behavior I did not want to continue to show. So I stopped. I started being very conscious of it and realized everything doesn't need a response. Everything doesn't need to go on some kind of tangent or whatever. Sometimes just be quiet. So that was the kind of thing that brought on the conversation, because I see how people, I see a lot of stuff on TV. Because of things that I do like to watch and take note of the different TV shows, kind of like Divorce Court or Couples Court with the Cutlers, that type of stuff, because it shows the type of things that can happen in a relationship. Now, I know sometimes they're either scripted or maybe even be extreme. However, in our society, these are real cases. They just haven't made it to TV. I know a lot of stuff is edited or whatever, but nonetheless, it's what it is. So knowing that, I just try to be mindful of that kind of stuff. So I take it in. So you got people who, you get mad at somebody and you decide you need to either hit them because you feel like you're not being heard, they're not giving you your way, or you just overreact. And again, it's because at some point in time, you saw this was okay to do. Now, the person doesn't receive it. So now you all are you're at a battle because that's not what they grew up watching. I remember that was part of the conversation I had with my mother this past weekend. She said, growing up, she didn't see her parents argue or fight against each other. So when she got into a relationship and saw that this is what was kind of happening, just the opposite, she's like, oh no, this is not what I do. I don't want to be a part of this because I didn't witness it growing up and I don't want it. So she made her efforts to leave it. Now you have some people who witness, I guess you can say, peace and harmony, but at the same time, for whatever reason, you're driven for drama. I don't understand why you would be, but some people are. But then, you want to kind of question, why are you driven to drama? Why do you need to have all this extra? Because life in itself is hard. This is my theory. Life is hard. Why make it harder than it needs to be, especially with someone who's supposed to be your significant other, your partner, your mate? Especially if you're talking marriage, was supposed to be a lifetime. It's supposed to be for better or worse. Life on its own will give us worse. Let's not create worse. I'm just saying. That's my theory on it. And all in all, I will say, now the other things I've seen is you have people who they don't want to let go. They don't let go easily in relationships. And by that I mean you see things aren't working. You want to make your exit. Now, I understand sometimes some want to really hold on and try to make it work. And you do all that you can. I am a believer if if your significant other is trying to be reasonable with the relationship and really trying to make it work, they're saying, okay, I know I got some things, I'm trying to work on it. And everything, and they're really making an effort to make things better, then yes, we can do that. But if your partner said, I don't want you anymore, I don't want to be with you anymore, this isn't working for me, and they're not putting in any work, okay, let them go. Let them go. Why stay with somebody who does not want to be with you? Why try to force that? Wouldn't you want someone who would just want to love you freely and willingly? That's ideal. That's how it should be. I should want to love you without restriction. I won't say unconditional because we're human. God loves us unconditionally, but we have our degrees. Some are longer than others. Others is just, they don't want to do it. But let them walk away. Let them go and live their life. Wish them the best. And just go forward. Anything else, I don't understand. You're trying to force somebody, or you figure you're going to wreak havoc in their lives as a result because they don't want to be with you. Look at it like this. Okay, they don't want to be with you anymore. Okay, that's their loss. If you know you were a good person, you were a good person to them, and they still choose otherwise, okay, fine. Go ahead, live your life. You may not find anyone better than me, but some cases you may. And even when it doesn't work out, it's like, okay, you just weren't right for me. The time came to an end. Everyone has their seasons in your life. Let that season end without trying to continue to stir stuff up, you know. And you also don't want to agitate the situation. If you know somebody now, because I know of a couple of guys who they kind of create some drama, whether it's intentionally or not, is what it is. So why allow yourself to, you're telling them you don't want them, okay? Don't send them mixed signals. Do not be like, I don't want you, yet you want to call them, or you want to entertain certain stuff, or this and another. You keep playing with their emotions and stuff like that. That's how people get hurt, really. You just do not want to do that. So take people's hearts and decisions and take care of their hearts like you would want somebody to do yours. Don't keep egging that situation on. Let them go and let it be. To drag it out, I don't understand. Why do that? So what I want to do here is I want to ask from you guys that are here is about what do you do when you come to your relationships? So I made mention about seeing love and affection, and then I also made the counter argument of just the opposite of a lot of arguing, fussing, and fighting. So in the case where your parents were very violent, very dramatic, fussing and fighting and everything, if you witnessed that and you didn't like it, did you indeed make a conscious effort to not mirror that same behavior? Or have you subconsciously or even consciously lived to create drama because for you, quiet is just not good for you? You just need to have some kind of extra drama going on to create some stuff. I'm not sure. So I'd like you to answer those questions, or at least think to yourself on how you feel about that type of thing. And then um, if in fact you have witnessed this, you did not, you witnessed the behavior, you don't like it, how did you go about assessing it and then making that change to it? So did you just happen to, okay, you said, okay, these relationships aren't working. I keep creating the same pattern of behavior. I don't like it. What do? Do you, okay, you of course take an internal search, make your notes accordingly. Now, do you seek counseling? Do you allow the church, in a sense, to convict you? And by that, I mean, you're listening to the messages and everything, and the message is supposed to be pouring into you and building you up. Are you taking those into account? And so you're trying to make those adjustments. But as you encounter uh, maybe a stagnant point, or you have questions and things of that sort, do you seek guidance from outside help? Maybe sometimes friends and family, but maybe not. You might have to go to a professional level simply because sometimes the people who you're trying to not model and be like are the people in your family or those close to you. So you'll notice those type of things have to change as well. Um, and maybe your job sent you on some things and sent you on some training and helped you to do things. And so now you're trying to incorporate that into your life. Those are the type of things. And then are you really putting in the work? Because some people say, well, yeah, I went to counseling. Okay, well, what happened in counseling? Did you adhere to what they were telling you? Did you take note of it? Are you really trying to put it into practice? Or were you just going through the motions to say that you went? Because it's only as effective as the work that you put into it. So that's the thing to be mindful of. And once you start making the changes and adjustments to be better, to do better in your life, in your relationships, have you started noticing how people respond to you differently, how people interact with you differently, those kind of things, just to are you seeing the changes or the benefits of the change and seeing how life can be a lot more peaceful? You're now communicating better. Things aren't as hectic. Things aren't as crazy or drama filled. Those are the kind of things that I want for you as people, as individuals, to think back and consider. Simply because to live in chaos and stuff it's draining. It drains a lot of energy. I don't get it. Why would you want to do that? There's no need for all of that. Life can be so much better. You have other things to do with your energy other than live around miserably or trying to draw people in, creating all this havoc and things of that sort. um, I remember hearing from someone that growing up, they witnessed a lot of violence and negativity in the household. They watched their father abuse their mother. In some cases, it's just the opposite. You see your mother being so dogmatic over your father. And so, therefore, you start mirroring that behavior, whether you're very passive or you're very aggressive. And so, finding that balance, can be a challenge too, because sometimes in your efforts to be the opposite, you end up being actually just alike or worse in some cases, because you're channeling it different. I have come across those who are making the conscious effort to live more peacefully and things of that sort because they witness the extreme opposite. And that's great, because if your personality has allowed you to stay more calm, stay more settled without getting all this extra, taking it to 10, type of thing, because it doesn't have to be. Everything doesn't have to be an argument. It really doesn't. Sometimes you can just let it go, just saying, you know what, we can agree to disagree, and that's okay. That's okay. Just try not to let it come between you, because if you all are truly in something for the long haul, especially as it relates to marriage, every little thing can be a battle. With that said, if you think that your parents never fought because you thought your parents had the best relationship, and that's great, that's what you want to believe and think growing up, also realize that yes, they did argue. They just didn't argue in front of you, which was great. And it's a good and bad thing, because you didn't see it, so you think it's not supposed to happen. So when it does happen, you think something's wrong, when in actuality, if you talk with them, and prayerfully they would be honest enough with you on what they did and how they handled it. I come across, some couples who, of course, start mentoring, whether it's their children or other couples and things. And so they'll be some people will be real with their stories as they pass the information on and say, yes, this is great. However, these are the things that we dealt with. These are the things that happen, and so that's how things can work. Um, let me say, I'm trying to interact with everybody because clearly this thing wouldn't let me doing it before, so I didn't realize it. So, what was I thinking? My train of thought left. Oh yeah, so you're going through all of that. So talk to them, and when you're sharing that information, let people know. I remember having a conversation with one of my aunts and uncles. They had been married for, if my uncle was still alive now, they would have been married 39 years last week. But I remember talking to the both of them separately and together. How do you all make it work? How does it last this long? That type of thing. Because at that point, they were after my grandparents on both sides, because both sets of them both met each other in heaven at some point. They stayed together until they died. Um, so I asked him, how do you make it work? And one of the things my aunt kept stressing, and even my uncle reiterated later, communication, communication, communication. And it's like, it's not always going to be easy. You're going to be met with challenges because, again, you got things that happen, things that come up in your life that are going to take you for a turn, things that, you got your job stuff, you got life stuff happening. Then when you get health stuff happening, that really can take a turn and drain on a relationship. But if you just take time and just ask, find a couple that appear to be really truly living a good life, a good relationship, and connect with them, befriend them if you don't already know them, and ask them how they do it. And they'll tell you what's real. And then you really take it into account and just let them know, like, okay, yeah, this is what we're doing. This is what's going on. Um, I have found it to be very beneficial over time. Um, it's really helped, and that's one of the reasons why I do like doing what I do and working to encourage couples to, if they're going to be together right, and if not, then go in peace. I'm like, don't create havoc. You have energy to do other stuff with. Don't bring a lot of extra going on, because some people I know will tend to get very worked up over stuff. It's like, well, if they come and say this, I'm gonna do da 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 da. I'm like, don't do all of that. You don't have to do all of that. You know where you stand with it. So at that point, you know where you are. You don't have anything to prove. You don't have anything to defend. If you don't like what you see, then you say, you know what? This isn't going to work for me. I'm going to go. I'll talk to you later. And that'll be it. It's not a whole big thing to do. You have your own car, you have your own place, whatever. Go. And if you all happen to be in the same space, okay, you're like, you know what? I need some time. Let me go. I need to go clear my head. I need to go calm down because right now this isn't going to go well. Be real with yourself with that. And it's okay, because if both of you all are working to be mature in the relationship, then that part should be understood. And if not, then work to create that conversation so that you will know, it's like, okay, you know what, when I get upset sometime, it is best that I walk away. If I'm quiet, because I need time to think, I need time to gather my thoughts and my words, because if you are anything like me, I know I am aware that my words can hurt. They can cut real deep if I'm not careful. So I do work to be very mindful of that. So I do not like to react when I'm angry or upset. I don't like to do it. Now, there are times when I have, and sometimes it can get ugly, but here's the part that I realize. What comes out is really what I've been feeling. I just was trying to make it not come out as harsh. That's my goal, for it to not come out as harsh. Not always happy, not always good, not always successful, but it's an ongoing work in progress. I mean, because I'm human. I think I try to be extra conscious of it because I feel like because I know better, I've had the training and XYZ, all this, that, and the other. And so I hold myself at a higher accountability level, but at the same time, I still fall short because I'm human. So I fall short, but then when I do, I'll come back and apologize. Like, you know what? I was wrong. That shouldn't have gone there. My bad. I'm going to work to do better. And we move forward if that's however that's going to be. I do try to stay very conscious to make sure that what I say does not damage the person, though. I do that. I am very conscious of that. I try to stay always aware of that and not let my emotions control me and how I do and how I respond. And I would like to pass that information on to you all as well, and hopefully that you all will encourage others to do the same. Let me see. So yeah, so I was looking for some feedback from some of you guys. I see some of you tuned in, and I appreciate it. Um, if you have any questions for me, if you have any input, any stories you'd like to share, I do welcome it. Otherwise, I don't have much else here because I was looking for more for some input to kind of, gauge the conversation. Because I know it's more to this the whole part of a conversation is for two more people to engage back and forth. Me, I'm just talking to myself right now. So, or, I feel like it because we're not in person. So that's I feel like the downside of the live video. But I'm looking forward to September when we get back in person. Because that's for sure. I think I might do a collaborative when we come back, though. So that we can kind of combine a couple of things together. So that's the kind of thing I'm looking forward to. So anyone have any thoughts or things to share? I see you, Patrice and Tanya, Miss Vita. I miss you, girl. Hey, Ray. I see you, Dwayne. Ooh, Carmen. Hey, Miss Carmen. Thanks for joining in. I see Donnie and Jamie and Dwayne. I feel like back in what was that on what was that show? And she was like when she's seeing everybody in her little mirror as you go away. But I thank you guys for joining in. So Carmen, you missed out on the part where I was talking about the different things and the information as far as what people witnessed growing up. Um, whether it was arguing or whether it was a lot of love and affection. I saw both. Well, not, well, yeah, actually, growing up as a whole, I saw it all. I saw love and affection from my maternal grandparents. I saw not so much love and affection, a little nagging with my paternal grandparents. I saw longevity and a balance of love and peaceful disagreements with my aunt and uncle. And then I had an aunt and her husband who bickered a lot. They showed with me watching them, I knew even as a kid, I did not like that. That made me feel some kind of way. I remember saying something to them and I was like maybe about 5 or 6 years old. And I was like, well, you all just stop? So I knew then hey Tracy, I knew then that arguing was never a good thing. I learned too with myself that if I get upset, very upset, I might have a tendency to get a little violent. Now, I've learned over time how to control that, but I feel it and recognize it. That's why I try not to go there. So when people say, I never see you upset or angry, yes, that is a great thing because it's not pretty when it is. It's just not. That's just real. So I'm mindful of that, and that's why I try to stay encouraging, and I work to stay encouraging and uplifting because it's so much less energy because I just cannot. Hey, early. So yeah, so I've seen all kind of things, and I can appreciate learning from it all because I take all of it in. I really do. So you want to always try to stay positive. You want to, if you can appreciate um, being able to come together and share. But then at the same time, also recognizing that at some point, it just may not be meant to be. And you have to agree to not, this is not going to work, and just go your separate ways and just love them from a distance. Because everyone you come across is not supposed to always stay forever. You got friends can come and go. You have, the cycle of life happens where people are going to, unfortunately, pass away that you love dearly, because we all do that, and that always can hurt. But at the same time, to continue to live as much peace and harmony as you can, and try to bring that to whatever relationship you have, whether again it's friendship, brother and sister, or husband wife type of thing. It's all supposed to be about love, and if it's not, then you may want to really consider what's going on. Because if everybody is on pins and needles, or feel like they got to walk on eggshells when you're in a room and stuff, there's something about you that is not good if people have to do that around you. So you might want to kind of fix that. People just get all timid and like, oh, we're not going to say nothing to her, because if you say this, she just going to go off, or he just going to go off. Shouldn't be like that. They should look forward to seeing you. They should look forward to being around you in your presence. And if not, you might want to assess that and work on some things. Come talk to somebody. I am available. We can work things through, do some exercises, mentally, physically, whatever, because there is work to be done all the time. And I think if you really take a look at yourself, there's always room for improvement no matter what. Not just for educational purposes, but self-growth. Part of self-care. What are you reading that is, improving your mind, impacting your mind? What are you doing that is improving you? Are you reading? Well, now you don't even have to just sit and read a book. You can actually listen to the book. That's what I love. Oh my gosh, the CD books or the audio books that you can do on your phone. So as you're driving and stuff, you can just listen, and you can, the information can register in. And I think that's really good. Or if you just sit down, then you can take your notes and things of that sort of stuff that they bring up. I think that's always good. The library has great stuff. So I look at it like you can get it from the library, do a try run from that. And then if you really want to invest in it, then you go buy it. Do that, so that way it doesn't come an ongoing expensive stuff, books you're stacking up that you're not doing anything with. You get a trial run from the library, see how that goes. So I would just say, my thing is, when it comes to relationships, look at your models. Hey, Michelle, look at your models. Who are you looking to not model exactly, but be similar? Because everybody's life experience is not going to be the same. Everybody's story is not going to be the same. Everyone's journey is not going to be the same. Life is not designed that way. However, you can take key notes and pointers from those that you gear or think are good, that you would like to embrace or model. Those are the kind of things I personally like to try to take note of and take the positive out of. It's kind of like they're the mailman. They make the delivery. You decide on what you're going to do with it. It's not going to be great for everybody, but say everything's not going to work for everybody. I know some can be very extreme in their thinking and their processes. Okay, yeah, I don't need to do all of that, and I say that because like there was this guy at church. I know, I remember him sharing his story and everything when he was dating and stuff, and this worked for him. Him and his wife, they agreed on, and they shared the story when they were dating, and then when they got married and stuff, on because he dated, or he dealt with a lot of different people that he had his own track record, and she was aware of that, so it was full disclosure, wasn't no secrets on that form. And what she did was she said, okay, I need you to let me know if we come across somebody when we're together that you would have been with, because I don't want to be cut off guard. Some people feel like I don't want someone else to have a one-up on me. Okay, now that can be good and bad, because if he's always squeezing your hand, she said when they went to some event or whatever, by the end of the night, her hand was hurting because he kept squeezing it. But it was like, but that was what worked for them. Now you have other relationships in which Uh, a lot of guys can't handle knowing too much, and a lot of women can't handle knowing too much about their significant other's past. Know what you can handle. Don't try to take on something else because somebody else did it that worked for them. That may not work for you. Let's just be real about that. And just know and just go and do. Um, it doesn't have to be so extreme. Find your balance. Make it work for you and your partner, however that's going to be, because again, it's going to be different. But just look for good, positive role models. Sometimes some stuff can be from TV, even though we know TV is scripted most of the time. In some form or fashion, it's directed. They don't have executive directors for nothing. They're actually directing some things. However, take the lessons. Tyler Perry is good for expressing a lot of things when it comes to relationships and things of that sort. And he has a lot of good points. It's like real life stuff. So some people want to diss him because of how he gets the message across. But again, if that's the method that works to get through, hey, Kelly, then that's what he's going with. He's trying to make sure he's reaching the masses. And this is the message that's coming across. And if someone comes out better from it, then it was worth it. So however you choose to mirror your model in a good way. Well, thank you, sir. Then that is what you would want to continue to model and go forward with. Okay. So I'm not going to be here much before you long. What I'm going to do is, because of how this works, I will be able to save it and share it. So you can find it now for Instagram. I think it does disappear after a while or something like that, but I will have it on my YouTube channel, which is under the hashtag AYSTYAR. It'll also be on my group here on Facebook under the same name and or the page for it. So you'll be able to see it and review it. Hey, Shalana. And go from there. So, and you can always put in comments and stuff, because I can go back and look at them and read them and stuff. So whatever platform you see it on, you can review it, you can comment, you can feel free to share it, and we continue to talk about it. I will be, if you want to see me to have any type of conversation one-on-one, you can always call. You can also, I'll be around, I'll be on the, I guess that's considered the south side of Cleveland tomorrow, because I'm be in the Mayfield area. I will be at Milwaukee Burst from 12 to 3 tomorrow with my lows and my books. I will have my books available as well, from 12 to 3. And then at 6 o'clock, I'll go down the street to the front stage, which is where I believe it's the Old Regal Cinema Theater is at Severance. I'll be there in the evening with my Loaves as well, Loaves and Books. Hey, Miss Diana. Hey, Jamal. I will be there as well with more Loaves and Books for another event. And so if you want to stop by and see me there. If tomorrow doesn't work for you, then next Saturday. Hey, T. I will be, I will be at Milwaukee Burst again next Saturday from 12 to 3. And then I go over to the west side. I will be on the west side for from 4 o'clock, I think it is, from 4 to 8 at the United Methodist Church, because they're having what's called a Christmas in July. So there'll be a lot of different crafters and stuff there. So I'll be there as well with my books and my loaves. So if you want to place an order in advance, or you want to just stop by and pick up a few, feel free. You can always call me, 216-288-1800, whether it's to set up a pickup, drop off, delivery, whichever. You can also go to my website. Go to my pages, follow me, send me a DM, inbox, however you want to put it. I am available for questions, comments, and consultations. So I thank you all so much for joining in. Like I said, you can go back and watch the replay. It'll be available. And we'll go from there. Okay? So thank you all so much again for tuning in. And we will, what is this? That's something to, oh, we'll try that next time. We'll go from there. You say you'll be getting yours tomorrow, Tracy. Okay. Make sure you check the menu, Tracy, so I can get you I'll have what you need. Okay. I have several kinds available. Tomorrow I have the regular mini loaves. I have some vegan mini loaves at 6. The vegan and all in, and then I'll have some keto, and then I'll have some chocolate chip and some cran nut tomorrow. Okay. So if you want to put anything special in, then you have to call me and let me know. And then I can have that. I can get that together tonight. Okay? So let me know. So I will talk to you guys later. I know Tiara, we'll sync up and we'll do next month, okay? That way I can call you beforehand and we can get started, okay? So we'll discuss that. So call me later. So thank you guys again. So I will talk with you later. All right, signing out now. I'll figure it. Do this, and we're gonna do that. Let's see. Save it.